Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome to the Note Closer Show. I think it's episode 55. Correct, 55. Double nickel. We've hit 55 shows, which is great. It's exciting. Happy President's Day. This President's Day in 2017. Now, most people didn't realize that President's Day, while it's obviously revered for all our past presidents, is actually was celebrated to originally celebrate George Washington's birthday. But they got it on the wrong day. His birthday is actually February 22nd. So I always make it the third Monday of February to give people 3-day weekends. Although about half the people still work, which we are working today. We're in the offices working on some things. It's kind of a lighter day. It's quiet here in the office. We're not getting in trouble for being too loud. Nice. It is very nice. Got to give big props out to Chase Thompson for his Marketing Madness event this last weekend. Did a great job. A lot of great people enjoyed what he provided. Just 3 days of like fire hose marketing stuff. I learned some things that I'll be implementing. It's pretty good. So exciting. Hey, great job, staff, doing most of the marketing for that event, which is good. When he has the next one, who knows? But we do have today being President's Day. We do have a sale going on today. I'll start off with and before we dive into the main content list of stuff here. It is a President's Day sale for Note Camp 3.0. So if you go to notecamp.live and hit the register now down at the bottom where it says $297, we'll give you $100 off your all-access VIP seat. All right? Cha-ching, exactly. Let's save you some money. All you have to do is hit the special code in, type the special code in, PRESIDENT with a capital P. President, to get your $100 discount off of your VIP seat. So we're already over 100 people signed up for the event. We're right at, 58 and a half days out. So we're pretty stoked about that. Going to be a huge event. We had a couple speakers actually reach out to me this morning that are going to be on. Some new faces that we've not had on Note Camp before.
We are at capacity with speakers.
We are just about at capacity. So we're getting rid of a few of the older ones and bringing on some of the newer ones. They're going to really spice it up for you. Make it well worth so you're like applauding. Yay! And learning all from the comfort of your own home or office, everybody. So, but anyway, that President's Day ends today at midnight. Make sure to take advantage of that sale and get your RSVP VIP ticket to the event. So, but today's topic is about the 10 differences between notes and real estate deals. Now, I bring this up because we've had a lot of people that have been making some offers on notes and treating it like it's a real estate deal. Not effective at all. So what I thought I'd first do is go through the differences and then dive into a little bit more content. So the first difference between a note and a piece of property you're buying is just that. It's a note. You aren't buying the piece of property, okay? You're literally buying the debt, and you become the bank. You don't become the owner of the property. You become the bank. All right, now you have all the same rights the bank does to foreclose, modify, reinstate, offer a short sale up, cash for keys, deed in lieu, foreclose, whatever. You've got the same rights as the bank, and you have to realize that it's a different mentality than I'm buying this and I'm going to get the property, okay? That leads us to number 2. You're not going to get the deed of trust because you don't own the property when you buy the note. You buy the debt. So it's an assignment of mortgage that is transferred over. It's a one-page assignment. For every time that note is sold, there should be another assignment of mortgage in your collateral file. Okay? Now, the reason you're not getting a deed? Oh, because somebody else owns the property. To get the deed back, you would either A, have to foreclose, or offer cash for keys or deed in lieu or something like that to the borrower. Okay? It's a big mentality shift when it comes to doing note investing. I had somebody email me last night, oh, well, I'm going to make sure on this deal I'm going to get the deed of trust signed. That's not going to happen. The fact that you only buy first liens secures your ability to wipe out those junior liens in a foreclosure sale. Now that kind of takes us to number 3. The third big difference is you're buying the property, the note as is. All right, you want to base it off of as is condition. Yes, I know it's difficult to do that when you don't get interior inspection reports like you would a REO or a foreclosed home or something like that where you can walk it. Most of the deals that we see, they're occupied, so you have to kind of base the interior off the X tier. This is also why you try to avoid vacant homes. Most of the time, vacant homes are going to have some sort of rehab need, like the air conditioner walking off, or the copper goblins showing up. All right, or holes being punched in or being vandalized if it's been sitting there for a while. Now, I'm not saying you can't get into all no deals. Sometimes you can get into the home, especially if they're listed for short sale or other things like that you're picking up. But so many real estate investors that come over to the note side, they start basing their bids off of ARV. Well, what does ARV stand for? After repaired value. That's not a smart thing to do. You need to base your bids off of as is value, but you can't go immediately and deduct 25 grand to rehab the property, because you may not end up rehabbing the property if you bought the note. You may end up modifying the property, okay? So that's the thing. And number 4 is you got to look at your exit strategy primarily, especially if it's occupied, to try to modify or reinstate versus taking the property back, okay? That is a huge thing. So many real estate investors, they look at, well, as is, I'm going to deduct all my expenses, and they're going to be totally well below where everybody else is bidding at with a true note investor. So they're going to bid themselves right out of the ballgame. It's not something you want to do. Okay. Another thing when it comes to closing on note deals versus a piece of real estate, most of the time you're going to have cash to do that. Now, yes, you can borrow money from a self-directed IRA investor to fund, but you're not going to go out and get a hard money loan. You're not going to go out to the bank and buy and get a line of credit or a loan to buy a note. It's just not going to happen. Now, if you have a line of credit, that's a different story. We've had some people pull money off their credit cards or their equity lines to use it as cash to purchase the notes. That will happen. But you're not going to go to the bank and go talk to a hard money lender. Unfortunately, most hard money lenders just don't understand note investing. They want it to be a shorter time frame anyway of 6 months versus it being a year or 18 months in some cases with notes. All right. The next thing, I think we're at number 5 or number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're at 6 now. Is most of the time, a lot of people are out marketing for real estate to get that equity, like a probate issue where they're going to have buy a property at 50 cents on the dollar, 60 or 70% of value with an REO to have that 30% profit margin. Well, with us in notes, we avoid equity deals. Well, the reason we avoid equity deals is that equity really isn't ours. That equity is the borrower's or the property owner's equity. I'll give you an example. Say a house is worth 100, borrower owes 75. I'm the note investor. If I'm buying that note from a hedge fund or a bank, they're probably going to try to sell that note as close to 75 grand as possible. Why? Because it'd be made whole at the foreclosure auction. Now, that doesn't make sense for me as a note investor, because if I take the note back and I pay 70 grand and I foreclose, and the highest I can make my offering is 75 grand, all right, I can't make it for 100 because they only owe me 75 grand with the payoffs and everything like that. It's 75 grand. So if it gets bid at 80 or 85 at the auction, I only get the 75. That extra 10 grand between 75 and 85 goes back to the borrower or a second lien holder. So this is why you want to avoid equity deals, because A, it's equity you're not going to see unless you negotiate deed in lieu, but in that case, oftentimes there's too many liens on the property to negotiate deed in lieu. Okay? And second, if it is a little bit smarter borrower, they're going to fight you for that equity. They're going to drag it out in foreclosure. They're going to file bankruptcy. It's become nasty business. So avoid equity deals, all right, as a note investor. If you're a fix and flip wholesaler, yeah, you're going to chase equity deals, but that's not what we do on the note business, okay? Notes are also a longer term time frame investor. We're talking 6 to 12 months versus 60 days. Now, I know a lot of real estate investors are holding out for deals. They don't want to tie their money up for 6 months, or especially 12 months, which is what you should be doing if you're funding note deals, getting the money tied up for 12 months, not 6 months. But when you look at it, you start looking at annualized ROI and the velocity of capital. How many times can you turn that person's money? Hey, it's great if an REO investor come in, can buy a house, rehab it, and get it sold in 90 days. They could do that 4 times. Great. A note investor may do it once or twice in a year. But the biggest thing to keep in mind there is, A, if you do it one deal, how long are you having to hold your money to find another deal? Whereas with note investing, we see plenty of deals. Okay? I know, Greg, you're friends of your dad's are dealing with that right now. They want to buy an REO or buy an REO. I got all this money, but they can't buy anything that makes sense, right?
Yeah, the auction.
The auction doesn't make sense, okay? That takes us to number 8, okay? Niche versus the herd, I call this. Yes, note investors are a niche. There's probably 5,000, 6,000 of us all across the country that are actually doing something on a daily basis. Now, you take that number, multiply it times like 100, probably 500,000 real estate investors across the country that are looking for, probates and ugly houses and mailing to the foreclosure lists. I like being in a niche. Although we have a huge pond of deals, there's still about 9 million homes out there that are underwater or upside down, or people are late in the mortgage that we can buy that debt from. So it's a much smaller niche for a bigger pool versus a larger pool of fish trying to buy or fish in a smaller pond, because their deal flow is shrinking up. When you look at what Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and all those guys said a few years back, or HUD, especially HUD, talking about HUD is planning on selling more notes over the last 3 years and going forward than they actually will be selling REOs. Why is that? Because it's faster for them to dump the debt to note investors like you and me and other big firms, because we have much more flexibility on what we can offer the borrowers versus just trying to foreclose. So we're higher up the food chain. Real estate investors, wholesalers, REO buyers are down here. So we buy the stuff up closer to the source, bigger discounts. We filter through what we get, and we often will have a resolution before it ever hits your traditional real estate investors market. Okay? I can't read my handwriting on here. Number 9 takes us to a lot of the marketing aspect of the difference between note investors and real estate investors. Many real estate investors are putting bandit signs out or mailing postcards out monthly. They're doing a lot of capital, or spending a lot of capital to market to get a 1 to 4% response rate on their direct marketing campaigns. With note investors, we don't send postcards out. All right? What we do to attract deals is literally reach out to banks and hedge funds. It's called emails and phone calls. And what does an email cost you? Just a little bit of time. What's a phone call cost you? A little bit of time. What's a postcard or a direct mail cost you? 36, 50 cents, $1, depending on how much you're doing it. And yes, don't get me wrong, there's some people out there mailing thousand postcards so they get a discount on what their direct mail piece is plus postage discounts. But it's still, you can't beat sending an email blast out to 5,000 asset managers and getting a listing of stuff that makes sense. This is also, that was what my last final thing was that I can't read here, is we got plenty of sources versus a scarcity mentality. What I mean by source versus scarcity? Well, if you're direct mailing, sending postcards out to the people that have ugly houses or the people that are facing foreclosure, how many deals are you going to get from those sources, that 4%? Well, you're dealing with a consumer. You're going to maybe find one deal from that person. Are they going to have a bunch of other deals? In some rare circumstances, yes, you'll come across somebody who's got a portfolio that they want to sell, but more than likely, that's not going to happen. You're going to have one investor, one borrower, give you one deal. All right? Now, with notes, we go after the banks. We rarely just see one note deal, right, everybody? We often will get 30, 20, 100, 800, all right? So that's the beautiful story. Our sources are aplenty. A cup runneth the overeth with note deals and being able to cherry pick through things versus, I will say, it's a scarcity mentality now at the REO auctions, at the foreclosure auctions, at the sheriff sales, where people are going, and those, since they're used to doing business the old way, they're bidding deals up beyond numbers that make sense. If the weekend lawyers are paying 75, 80, 90, 95 cents on the dollar to do a deal, which leaves no profit margin to them. All right? With us, as note investors, if you're bidding over 50, 60 cents on the dollar, you're probably paying too much. All right? Now, don't get me wrong, if it's a short foreclosure time frame, it's a pretty property, or it's in a highly appreciating area like South Florida, I would pay 60 cents on the dollar for a note deal right now, knowing that in 12 months my appreciation will increase another 20, 30%, so I'll be sitting at 50% of value when I finish the foreclosure. I'm fine with that. But I have got plenty of deals to choose from versus trying to battle every other Tom, Dick, and Harry who's at the REI Club trying to buy a deal for the first time. Okay? I guess you could say number 11 would be, we'll throw in a bonus to number 11, there's a lot more exit strategies. With notes, we've got basically 9, 10 different exit strategies versus a investor's going to either wholesale it, fix and flip it, or or turn it into a rental or owner finance it a little bit. We've got a whole lot of other strategies on the back end. We've got those available to us once we foreclose. We've got a whole lot more exit strategies along on the front end. So, any questions, comments from people this morning? As I know we've been rattling on there for a few minutes.
No,
but
it's all right. We have an interesting comment. Dennis Taskin is watching from Kenya, which I think is amazing.
That's awesome. Hey, tell you what, if you get a chance, one of the things that we do with our national investors, if you can find a flag of Kenya, not a big one, you don't have to send me a big one, but one it's a normal little small one that you can bring. If you want to ship that to me, we'll comp you into Note Camp at our next virtual Note Buying for Dummies workshop. Kenya this morning. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Sarah Boyd Tollivan says there's opportunities everywhere when you're talking about scarcity and sources. So
yes, that's correct, Sarah. There are opportunities everywhere. What separates the successful investors and the people that are closing deals versus the herd is marketing. That's what it all comes down to. What are you marketing? How are you marketing? How are you getting the word out? Are you spending time on LinkedIn and Facebook? Are you going and doing email blasts out to your database? It's that's what separates the successful people from those that are just trying to close a deal. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, as an ex-real estate investor, I guess you say property investor is a better way to say it versus no investor. I did a lot of those postcards, mailing out 1,000, 2,000 postcards a week, mailing out 200 yellow letters every other week, trying to get people to call me. And I was successful. Had plenty of deals that came in from it. But it was not like it is now with a massive amount of deals that we have coming in, because we do direct market. We do a lot of stuff. We do a lot. We do the voodoo that we do.
I know, it pretty much is magic on what we can complete. So.
It is pretty.
It's pretty magical.
It is pretty cool, isn't it, guys and gals? We do have a note draft taking place this week. Wednesday, hump day. Exactly. We'll be rolling out 200 assets. 174.
To be exact.
Okay, I love that. You guys have done some due diligence to narrow it down then, huh?
Yes.
That's good. If you're in the Mastermind or our Top Gun Mastermind and Fast Track, you would have gotten the list last week to look at, right, everybody?
Yes.
So we'll get some offers coming in, but to start Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central Time, actually probably closer to 2 o'clock Central Time. We'll post an email out and a webinar out later today regarding that so you can get registered for it. If you're on the Note Funding League sign-up list, you'll get the list later today of 175 assets, so you can start looking at those. We do have our Monday Note tonight. Our Monday Note webinar tonight is based on the 50 darker shades of notes. Yes, I'm going to wear a mask tonight. I think I'm going to go find one.
Charming Charlie's has one.
I've got one at my house. Masquerade blog. Yeah, that's right. No handcuffs necessary, baby.
Oh, gracious.
Yeah, So it'll be a good time. We'll probably have 300 people on the webinar. And we had over 160 people signed up already for it, and we haven't really done our money. I know it's President's Day, and some people are like, Scott, why are you doing this on President's Day? You sadist. I'm like,
what?
Yeah, I'm not a sadist. It's most of the people are working. We love providing great content. I want to thank all of you guys who are sharing the Monday Notes or leaving great comments and things like that. We really look forward to that. But today's thing tonight at 7 o'clock Central is the 50 Shades Darker of Note Investing. And you're going to love it. Trust me. It's one webinar you won't want to miss out on. Good questions, comments?
James Flint said TMI when you were talking about handcuffs.
Yeah, I don't have any handcuffs. I'm good. Big shout out to James Flint, by the way. James, you took our last Virtual Note Buying for Dummies workshop, and you have a tremendous marketing video on your deal that you did. The ugly house that you flipped. You bought it as a note, sight unseen, which you learned from that, but you still had 100% ROI on your deal. You made $2,500 on a $25,000 investment.
He should definitely post it.
Yes.
To see it.
Tell you what, James, if you can pull the link and post it here in the comments so people can see it. Very proud of you. Excited all the feedback you're getting off that. Just a tremendous job with marketing. We love sharing wins, and that's a big, big win. I look forward to have you probably be part of the mastermind at some point here before too long. So, what other questions, comments do we have from everybody here?
That's it. Everybody's pretty quiet today, I guess.
They're hungover from their Sunday night of partying out there. Like the gals at Solo Bello.
Solo
Bello. I went to Houston and I had too many margaritas.
Oh, it's Margarita Day. Wednesday?
Wednesday is National Margarita.
Yeah.
Wednesday is National Margarita Day. Yes.
The draft is a little
Aye.
We did team building.
So I should bring out my hat. It's what?
Team building. Remember our team building exercise?
Yeah.
Margarita Wednesday.
Margarita Wednesday. Yes. You mean wear a sombrero with tequila? Do we need to pull out the Don Julio over there?
Have
And
it.
sombreros and
Do we need to do shots all around? We need to, hang on a second.
Hold on, no.
Do we need to pull out some of these for margarita? As my desk is attaching here.
And sombreros.
That's gonna fall again.
Grab it, Greg.
There we go. I'm breaking up my desk. It's President's Day. Margarita Wednesday. Which would actually be President's Day, the true President's Day of George Washington's birthday. So we're going to celebrate President's Day on Wednesday, not only with the Note Funding League, all right? We're also going to go out and have a margarita. So maybe you can grab your sombrero, your President concoction, and join us at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time for the Note Funding League on Wednesday. Otherwise, just join us today at 7 o'clock for the 50 Shades Darker of Note Investing. And don't forget today's President's Day discount, guys. Take advantage, get $100 off your Note Camp 3.0 tuition by going to notecamp.live and using the word president, capital P, to get you a $100 discount off your VIP seating. So,
Don't forget, if you like what he talks about, share it with your friends.
oh, thank you. Yes, if you like it, make sure to share the video with your friends and make sure they watch till the very end because you can watch me destroy my office looking for these wonderful things that Leslie Cox sent me last year. So, otherwise, guys, have a great Monday. Go make something happen. It's Monday. You're alive. Smile. Be happy. And go make Monday your bitch. We'll see you guys at the top.